Hey, what's up, guys? This is Adura Sanya from iFlip Academy, and we're doing something new here. This is our first ever episode of Tales from the Trenches, which is our live interview series where we essentially talk to real deal investors that are live in the field, actually making it happen, actually doing deals today in 2012, not 2006, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but guys that are actually in the field, making money, doing deals, living how they want to live, which is what iFlip Academy is all about. So our first ever guest on Tales from the Trenches is Mr. Daniel Wiafe. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Adora. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. The ninja himself is our first ever episode, first ever interviewee. So let's get right into it, sir. Why don't you introduce yourself to our guests?
Okay, yeah, my name is Daniel Wiafe, and yeah, some of you guys may know me as a house flipping ninja, and I'm actually a pretty new real estate investor. I began wholesaling sometime last year, back in the fall time, and kind of had a struggle and some hurdles in the beginning, but I overcame those hurdles, and I busted through into the point where we're doing about 2 to 4 deals a month on a part-time basis. So I have another business that I run full time, and but yeah, I'm just basically loving life.
Nice, nice, nice. So let's talk about how did you your first ever introduction to the concept of real estate investing, wholesaling.
Okay, that is a good question. It all began back in the late '90s when I was watching infomercials, and like everybody else, I seen Mr. Carlton Sheets,
Yep.
and I probably should have said his name on this podcast, but yeah, I mean, I seen it, and that always interested me. That you could get into real estate and not have any money or credit, and so I believe I had bought a course off of eBay,
Mm.
and when I got the manual, I read it and I could. It didn't make any sense, Adora. It was just a bunch of gibberish to me. And so basically, what I did was I trashed it, and I forgot about real estate for the next few years as I went through college and whatnot. And then last year, I was listening to a lot of different podcasts about internet marketing. My original expertise is in internet marketing and affiliate marketing, and I made tons of money doing it. And so, I would try and keep myself abreast of all the different information.
Hmm.
And so, anyways, I came across a internet marketing podcast by Nathan Jurowitz and Sean Thierry, where they're talking about internet marketing, but then they would also talk about their real estate business.
Hmm.
So I kept on listening to these guys, and they kept on talking about how easy it was to make money in real estate. And so, me, I was like, I gotta check this out. And so, Sean, he had another podcast going called Flip to Freedom. Real
Great,
good
great podcast,
podcast.
by the way.
Yeah, awesome podcast. And so, I checked it out and I listened to all the podcast episodes on there. Back then, there was probably about 40, maybe 50 episodes. And, I listened to all those podcasts, and he just made it seem too simple. And so, so basically what I did, Odora, was I went to YouTube and did some more searching around on the internet, and I seen all these people posting up checks and talking about it's so easy a caveman could do it. And so I said I'd have to be a fool not to even try to do it. And
Hmm.
so what I did was I got some ebooks, read through them, took action, went out there and did it, and we started flipping deals.
Hmm. So it's interesting. So essentially, in terms of taking action, you just started last year in 2011.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now that's very interesting. So from the point of you got your, initial introduction back in the 90s for Mr. Sheets, which I
This
think a lot of us got our initial introduction from those late night get rich infomercials. So
Yeah.
you got your introduction and you heard about real estate and you kind of pushed it to the side, and then you actually got involved in 2011. What was your why? Like, why? From a lot of people hear about real estate investing, a lot of people hear about the initial opportunity, then they start consuming all the information out there, YouTube videos, blogs, Facebook forums, and stuff like that. But what was your actual why to actually start taking action and making it real?
Okay. That's a good question, Adura. Back in 2006, that was at the height of my affiliate marketing business, and I was making an extreme, insane amount of money back then each month. And because I was using Google to push traffic to my sites, and so Google, they shut me down practically overnight. And so
Mm,
pretty much my income went from 5 digits a month down to zero.
yikes.
Yeah. And so I was lucky that I had saved up money and we had paid off all of our debt, my wife and I. But for the next 2, 3 years, I went by life, just searching for the next big thing, and I couldn't find it. And I slowly went through all my savings and my income. And matter of fact, there was a couple years there where I didn't even make any money whatsoever on my income taxes. It was embarrassing.
Hmm.
And so when I seen the wholesaling information, I thought to myself that this would be an excellent way for me to get financial freedom as well as a time freedom, because I'm all about having a freedom of my time and my money. And so that's the biggest why is I want a freedom of both my time and my money.
Hmm. Now
If
that
that
that's
makes
big. That's very big because I like to think that. So people hear about real estate, houses, roofs, kitchens, and stuff like that. But I believe it's really about the why, as far as
yeah.
what it's really tied to, which is ultimately for most of us lifestyle. So,
Mhm.
like you just said, wanting to, have freedom of time and money, I think that that's what kind of separates people like yourself that are able to get involved just last year and have incredible success, as opposed to people that have been digesting that information for the past X amount of years and either haven't taken any action or just really haven't gained any traction. I think it all leads back to that why. If your why is strong enough, I think that causes you just to take a lot more strategic action and not take no for an answer. You agree?
I totally agree with that.
Hmm. Hmm. So let's talk
Totally.
about in terms of like strategy. So it's take me back to it's 2011. You're just getting started. What? Tell me about where you went from being complete raw newbie, not knowing much, all these different variables in the air to like that light switch moment of like this stuff actually makes sense now.
Good, good. Yeah, so I mean, way back when in 2011, I was a real estate virgin, and basically, when I had got my ebook training, and
E-
I got it from a free ebook that I found out there, so I didn't
who
spend like
whose
ten
ebook
thousand
was it?
dollars.
Whose ebook was it?
Mr. Sean Terry,
Nice, nice.
yeah, yeah, he gives away a free ebook on his website, and it was worth every penny. But yeah, so yeah, I digested it, and I would say, Adora, the biggest thing which I did myself and my partner Josh, what we did when we started was we picked one marketing strategy and we stuck to it. You
Hmm.
know, we didn't get everything all convoluted and try and do all types of different marketing strategies. Like we didn't try and do Bandit Signs this week and then direct mail this week and then postcards this week and Google this week. We picked one strategy, which was Bandit Signs, and we kept doing it over and over and over again. And I believe that beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was the biggest reason for our success was in the beginning we focused on one marketing system and we became very proficient in doing it. And even though there were some weeks we didn't get calls, we kept on going out there. We were persistent and we kept on busting it out there and putting out those signs.
Nice, nice. Now that's big. That actually got into you actually hit upon a question that I had to ask, which was, what did you think was the best advice for newbies starting out? So you're doing the bandit signs, and by the way, I hate bandit signs.
Hey, so do
And
I.
no,
I'll tell you, I hate them too. I just do them because they work. But go
no, I
ahead.
get it. So my 21st birthday,
Uh huh.
I spent putting out like about over 100 bandit signs.
Woo.
When I could have been like, at the club or with my friends or doing something cool. So I was out here in Philadelphia putting out bandit signs, and I didn't get not one phone call from those signs. And I think I still have battered woman syndrome from that 21st birthday of never getting calls from those signs. But they definitely work. Just never really worked for me. But guys, do as I say and not as I do. Bandit signs definitely work. So when you guys started doing the bandit sign strategy, what were you putting them out like every weekend, or how many at a time, or what was your system with the bandits?
Okay. Well, initially what we did, Adora, was because yeah, we read all the information, about wholesaling and how it works, and how it's going to make us multimillionaires overnight, and this and that. But we wanted to test the theory and see if it was true, and see if we could actually get cash buyers out there. Because I don't know about other newbies who are out there, but my biggest fear was that we would get a bunch of properties under contract, but we wouldn't have
Ah.
a buyer to flip it out to.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did was, it may be kind of shady, and people may send you or me some hate emails, but but what we did was we took 50 bandit signs and we just wrote up 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house for sale, 19.5K, must sell fast, cash, and put our phone number on it.
And did your phone blow up?
Oh man, it melted, dude. It just blew up, and of course, we had to go into Google Voice and we placed 50 signs out there. Back then, I was living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we put it on the major streets. And I mean, we had in the on Saturday and Sunday and part of Monday, I believe we had about 260 calls
Woo!
came through.
Yikes!
And yeah, and I mean, it was so bad, man. We didn't even return all the calls. We only returned about maybe 60% of the calls. But I mean, off of that list, Adora, we were able to get 5 to 10 people who are legit buyers,
Right.
who could spend up to 200 to $500,000 for properties, and then we had about maybe another 30 40 of them, who had about, 25 to $50,000 cash that they put down on a house. So that right there proved that we could actually find buyers when we flip a deal.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
So that process right there kind of gave you mental validation that there are buyers in my marketplace.
Yes, yes. And now, I mean, again, people may hear that. It's called marketing a phantom property, and yeah, it may be ethically not right, but it gave us confidence. And so what we did after that was the next weekend we got 50 more bandit signs, and we just simply put we buy houses or I buy houses or we buy houses fast, uh, fast for cash, any condition or area, and we put our phone number at the bottom and put call now at the left of it. And we placed about 50 more signs out there. And, we were expecting to get like 200, 300 more calls a weekend. But yeah, we were sadly disappointed. we got about maybe 5 calls off of those 50 signs. And a crazy thing that happened was that somebody kept on picking up all of our bandit signs after we would place them
Mm.
that Saturday morning. And so basically we had to strategize, and we did a lot of testing with different locations, Adura, and we finally found that there's a couple areas of town where we could place like a few bandit signs in a row,
Hmm.
and we would get about 20 to 25 calls a week off of just 3 to 4 bandit signs in that little area, in that pocket area. And so, and basically, this was because whenever we would get calls from motivated sellers, we would always ask them, okay, and Mr. or Mrs. Seller, where did you see our signs at? And they say, oh, we seen it at this area right here, this area right there. And so we seen that about 80% of our calls were coming from this like 2 different small pockets of areas.
Right.
And so basically, what we did was we made sure that we would always stick signs in those good areas, and then we would test out different areas. And so that's how we were able to generate a huge amount of call volume to our bandit signs initially.
No, that's actually very interesting. I've never heard bandit signs talked about so strategically. And I think that's actually a nugget in terms of, because when you hear about bandit signs, you just hear about, kind of throw them out, more so like a shotgun approach. So
Yeah.
that's actually very interesting. So all right, so you built out this strategy for bandit signs. So tell me about that first deal.
All right. First deal. We got that off of bandit signs, and it was a lady who had her mother had a property which was out in a little town called Manford, Oklahoma. I mean, it was just straight up sticks. And it was probably about 40, 50 miles away from Tulsa. And so basically, in the comps in the area looked pretty good. They were running at around $60,000 to $80,000 on the property. And when we talked to the lady, her husband had recently passed away about 5 to 6 months previous, and
Hmm.
so she had also had another home in another part of Oklahoma, which was her main residence. Only issue was that this house that she was wanting to sell needed a lot of repairs done to it. Probably needed about 10,000 in repairs done to it. And obviously, she's not able to do it. She's an elderly woman and she's on a fixed income. And so basically, what she did was she wanted to get, I believe, about $30,000 for the house. And so when she told me that, I said, okay, Mrs. I'll change her name, Mrs. Smith. I said, that seems like a pretty reasonable price, but I said, that's kind of going to be tough out in that area. I was like, you got to really help me out. And she's like, what about 25,000? I said, yeah, 25. I mean, that's a little bit better, but I mean, you really got to help me out. We're looking at, tons of deals, and, we really need to get the best deal that we can. And she said, oh, okay, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. Can you take 20,000 for it? And at that time, I knew I could take her further, Adora. But like I started feeling bad because one thing as investors is obviously we want to make a lot of money,
Right.
and I don't think anybody will fault me for that. But you also want to be able to sleep well at night too,
Right. Right.
you know. And so like I knew I could easily have gotten her down to 15,000 for the house, but I just agreed 20,000. Let's get it done.
Hmm. So when analyzing that first deal, were you guys, how skilled were you at actually, determining values and stuff like that? Or did you really know? Because a lot of newbies at that point are analyzing that first deal. It's like all these numbers. I don't really know what these numbers are or what they mean. But it sounds like you had a pretty good grip on values at that time on that first deal.
Yeah, I did. Well, no, let me not lie. I didn't have I didn't have a good grip on it, Adora. Um, Basically, in everything in my business, whether it comes to marketing, negotiating, whatever, I try and keep it simple. Like I think a lot of newbies they try and over emphasize different things and make it harder than it really appears. But
Right.
I find it best to keep things simple. And so basically, we just use that 65% of ARV minus estimated repairs minus our assignment fee to figure out the deal on this.
Hmm.
And I mean, we didn't have MLS access. We didn't pay for anything. Heck, we just used Zillow and e-appraisal and something else and just averaged out the property values.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean we got that number, went down to her place. My partner and I we read her the contract. And we were scared as heck, thinking, man, what are we doing? What if we mess up? And we got her to sign it, and I gave her $10 earnest money deposit.
Nice.
Halfway thinking in my head that she was going to say, what the hell is this? You need to give me more than that. But and to this date, Adora, I have never given anybody any more than $20 as an earnest money deposit. And I will say about 80% of the people that we give deposits, that we sign contracts with, we don't give them any money whatsoever.
Right. Right. And that ties into I have this equation, and it's M plus E equals D, which is motivation plus equity equals a deal. And I feel if you don't have both of those things, can't be a deal. At least for our wholesale purposes, cash buyer purposes. So, for example, if Miss Smith had been, super motivated, super ready to sign on the dotted line, but she owed like 55 grand on that $60,000 house, then it's no deal. And also, flip it vice versa kind of thing. So
Exactly.
you put the bandits out, created the system for that. Miss Smith calls, you go and sign it up. What's going through? How do you feel, like you and your partner? Do you remember like the conversation driving away from Miss Smith's house?
Oh man, we're doing fist pumps. We're like, yeah, 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 giving each other high fives, and we waited till like after her and her daughter left,
Uh
because they came in one car, and so we didn't want them to see us
huh.
here, and, going like, yeah, having a party and whatnot. We tried to keep it professional, obviously, but man, I mean, we were excited, and we stayed around, and after they had left, and took a video walkthrough of the house and took pictures of it, man. And we're just stoked, man. I mean, we just thought that this was unbelievable because I mean, you can read all the ebooks that you want to, and you can watch all the videos on YouTube that you want, or listen to all the podcasts that you want. But until a person actually takes action and implements it, and
Mm.
actually gets their hands a little bit dirty, and starts talking to people, and gets that first contract signed, you don't know what that experience is like.
Hmm. Now that's very very powerful. So for you guys that are watching or listening, it's easy to consume all that knowledge, all that information, YouTube, blogs, all of that, but it's just as easy to consume all of that and not do anything with it. So like there's a saying that goes something like the guy, the hardworking, tenacious guy will always win out over like the smart, just knowledgeable guy. Cause that tenacious guy might not know anything, but he's gonna go out into the street and figure it out as opposed to just sitting behind the computer and reading.
Or being on
So
Facebook all day.
exactly. But so you signed the deal up, and now what would you guys do after that in terms of all right, how do we flip this thing?
Okay. What we did was we had called the cash buyers that we had collected off of our little fake campaign.
Ah,
Only issue was that again, the buyers that we got were in the city, and this was kind of out there in the country,
right.
in the sticks. And so none of our buyers, well, a couple of our buyers went out there to go check it out, but a lot of them said, oh yeah, it needs a little bit more work than we want. And another thing that was an issue was the house used to be a manufactured house. And so they built a foundation into it, and they connected it into the land, so it actually became real estate, a freestanding house. But when people would come to see the house, and see the inside, they would say, "Oh, well, is this a trailer home?" Because I mean, they hooked up the trailer home. I mean, they put like a stone exterior on the outside of it, and they put a roof over the trailer home, and you couldn't even tell that it was a double wide trailer home. But my partner, he grew up in Arkansas, so he grew up in some trailer homes, and so he went on the inside, and he was like, "This used to be a trailer home, huh?" And so I'm like, okay, can we make money off of it? But yeah, so anyways, we got some of our buyers out there to check out the property, and it kind of fizzled out. And so what we did was we put more bandit signs out in that area, out in that local area, and we also put ads on Craigslist. We put ads on eBay Classified. We put ads on Backpage. I went to my real estate investing club, which was in town, and I started trying to pimp out that property down there. I looked up the cash buyers who were buying in that little town, and I mailed them all yellow letters, and every way possible that I could try and find a buyer, Adura, I did. And my philosophy when it comes to going after sellers, and this is for the newbie, to focus on one or two marketing systems to find sellers in the beginning. But when you do have a deal under contract, just take that shotgun approach. Go after a bunch of different mediums of marketing, because that's the best way that you're going to find a buyer.
Right. So how did you guys? Which one brought the buyer in?
Well, after like 3.5 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, because I would love to say that, after 5 days, we stuck out 5 bandit signs, and we had 20 people call us wanting to buy our house. It didn't work that way. We had to push through, man. Like, we had to extend our contract like 2 times, I want to say. And it was because we had gotten into a good rapport with the lady, which she was willing to do it. And like you said, she was motivated, so she was willing to work with us because we were her last chance, right? And so basically, I would go back to her and say, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, hey, yeah, we can't find somebody to purchase your property, but I'm going to leave this decision in your ball court. Do you want us to keep on, searching for a buyer, or do you want to, take it back? Either way is fine with me." And so, I left the ball in her court, and she said, "Oh, no, I like you guys, Daniel. You guys keep on doing what you're doing." And so we finally found a buyer off of Craigslist, and initially we had got the property under contract for $20,000, and we tried to sell it for $36,500. We didn't get anybody at $36,500, so we dropped it down to $32,000. We finally dropped it down to $29,500, and a guy from California was looking to buy a house in the country for his mother. And so he had called me, and he had said, "Okay, I seen this house, and I looked at it because we had given him the lockbox code.
Right.
I think I do want to get it, but all I can give you is a $26,500. And so I was like, okay, that's a $6,500 profit right there. And I was like, well, thank you, Lord. But I will tell you, Adura, that when you're trying to flip deals and you're on your first deal, or if you can't find a buyer for your deals, that will make you a praying man or woman. I can tell you that. Anyways, he says, "Okay, how about the $26,500?" And I'm excited at this, and my instant instinct is to say, "Yeah, let's do it." but I don't want to, kind of scare him off,
Right.
make him think that, oh, well, why did he agree to that price so fast? So I
Right.
said, oh, well, Steve, we're really down low, and we're selling it for 29.5. All the other properties are selling for like 60, 70,000 dollars. I mean, we're really taking a beating on this price.
Mm.
I'm just really milking it. And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, I understand. He was like, that's a totally good deal. And I said, you know what? Let me talk to my partner about it. And so like I gave it like a day or so, and I told him I would get back to him the next day, but I got caught up with some other things, so I got busy, and so like this guy was just blowing up my phone, right?
Hmm.
And so like talking about Daniel, please get back to me, please get back to me. And so finally I got back to him 2 days later, and I told him, okay, Steve, I said I talked to my partner, and he agreed to the price, and so yeah, we were willing to do it for 26.5. And he's like, oh, thank you, thank you. He was like, I thought that you found somebody else to buy the house, and that's why you didn't return my call. and, and so we had him come up to my office, and he dropped us off $2,500 earnest money deposit. Well, he came to my office, and then we all went down to the title company, and he gave the earnest money deposit to the title company, because a lot of times if people don't know you from Sam Hill, they're not going to give you $2,500, just to you because you can run off with it.
Not
So
not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I think I've had that happen like twice. And the first matter of fact, the second time, somebody actually gave me $5,000 cash,
Hmm.
money as an earnest money deposit. They didn't know me from anything, and I'm kind of surprised. Like, give me $5,000 cash, I could just run off with the cash, But it just really depends on how much rapport you build with your buyers and sellers.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, yeah. Long story short, we took the earnest money deposit to the title company. They did their final checks on the property. We had to pay off $800 for the what are those things called? The something on it to get constructed title wise.
Permits.
Not the permits, but the deed or the title on it, or something was up with it where it required $800 to get it fixed,
Hmm.
remedied. So, anyways, we were able to negotiate to get the buyer to pay for that as well. So
Nice.
he paid for that, and he paid for the whole closing costs. And so at the end of the day, we came out with $6,500 for our assignment fee.
6,500 on the first deal. And
Yes, sir.
then so from there, that 6,500, because I think a lot of and I hope I'm not like picking on people, but I think like a lot of newbies might get that first payday and think like it's time to like go shopping or go get a car or go buy some new shoes.
Uh
What
huh.
what did you guys? So you guys made that 6,500. After that, what was like the plan of action of, all right, so we know this stuff works because
Hmm.
we've been essentially able to go from reading an ebook to taking action, putting these signs out, fielding these calls from people, and then actually locking this property down and then getting paid on it, which is like a beautiful feeling. When you can go from concept in your head to actually like the end result is a payday. So like what were you guys like super energized to say like, wow, like how do we take over this town kind of thing?
Yeah, I love it. Take over this town. Yeah, Adora, we were totally pumped, man. Because I mean, like we closed on the deal 2 days before Christmas, and
Ah.
so yeah, that was a nice little Christmas gift. And then yeah, I mean, we were totally pumped. And what I did was, um, I don't even think that I spent very much of my portion. I probably only spent like maybe $1,000 of my portion, but the rest of it, we used it towards more marketing. And what happened was we had, constantly been placing signs each week, while we were working that deal. And so we had two deals that we had worked during that same time period, which had blown up. There was one deal where the guy just totally reneged on us when we
The
had
seller reneged?
yeah, yeah, he just like we signed the contract and with him, and he just totally blew us off. And so I don't know what happened with that, but uh, long story short, we probably wouldn't have flipped that deal anyways. You know, we got it too high. And then the other one that we had got on the contract, we had gotten a lady who had got a power of attorney over a house. Her husband was in jail, and so they owed about 40,000 on the house, but the mortgage company agreed to forgive the loan. Well, they agreed to reduce the loan to 15,000, I believe.
Hmm.
And so basically, what she wanted was $1,000 down, cash money in her pocket. And so basically, we would have need to pay $16,000 for the house. Now, I had been working with a realtor, you know, who had a big cash buyers list, and she had actually found a buyer for 22.5. So the difference between that was 16.4. It was about $7,000-8,000 or
Right.
whatnot, and all she wanted was $1,000 for her fee. And so, like, I mean, we were all set to close on that deal as well. But then my title lady, she did the title search on it, and it wound up having like $150,000 in liens on it.
Ah.
Yeah, man. So, like, long story short is when you get people, you know, who are involved in the penitentiary system, you got to be kind of leery about that, man, because uh, like 100,000 of the liens was just from bail bonds and stuff.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, yeah. Anyways, yeah, we had continued doing marketing, man, and I had actually got somebody who would call me the day after New Year's, so it was January 2nd. The guy had a house, and his daughter had lived in it, and she had moved out about 5 to 6 years previous to that, and so he just wanted to sell the house for 15,000, right? And so, you know, I did my little negotiating. I was like, oh, 15,000. I was like, you really hit me over here. I was like, come on, Billy, come on, work with me, man, work with me, man. And he said, okay, okay, $10,000. And he was like, and I can't go down any lower than $10,000 because he said I could just trade it for a truck or something, and I could get that. And I was like, yeah, Billy, yeah, you're right. I'm not even gonna lie, you're right. I was like, let's do it for 10,000. So I met him on January 2nd. We the house was totally tore up. Needed probably about $10,000-15,000 worth of work to it. But the good thing was the other houses in the area were selling for about 70,000-80,000.
Hmm.
So basically, did I did some bandit signs in the area, and then within about 10 days, I had you know, built up a huge list in that area, as well as got a cash buyer who wanted to buy it to live in it, and he was going to fix it up and move his family in there and live in it. And so we were able to make $6,000 off of that deal.
Hmm. And did that deal that came from Bandits also?
Yeah, that came from bandit signs as well.
Hmm. So you guys were rocking and rolling with the Bandits.
Oh
At
man, we're
at
pushing it.
what point did you guys say, all right, so we figured out the bandit thing. We're pretty much like masters of the bandits at this point. When did you say, all right, let's start looking into adding something else into the marketing arsenal?
Okay, that's a good question. We kept doing that approach for, and then during that time period, my partner and I, we kind of started doing our own thing. So, you know, he was marketing for his deals and I was marketing for my deals. And so, you know, I kept on doing the bandit signs for the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months, you know, after that first deal had closed. And then after that, you know, I decided, okay, yeah, it's time for me to expand my marketing. And again, I'm coming from an internet marketing field, so it's my natural inclination, you know, to start doing, you know, AdWords and pay per click and SEO and YouTube videos and all that other good stuff, right? But you know, I didn't really hear too much of any of the other gurus talking about that, so you know, I just focused on what they said to do.
Right.
But the second thing that I added to my arsenal of marketing was the postcard. And so,
Yes.
yes, the postcard. Now, I'm talking your language now, aren't I, Adura? Am I speaking your language right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so we got off into doing direct mail, and I've never done direct mail, so I don't have too much experience behind it, but I kind of know um, what I need to do marketing wise with it. And so we had gotten Chris Chico's system, his virtual wholesaling system, and I just followed that to a T. And I actually mailed out to Las Vegas because my wife and I were planning on moving out here, and we're living in Las Vegas currently, but we plan to move out here. So I said, let me try this stuff and see if it works. So bought a list and mailed out 1,000 postcards, and got a lot of hey, f you, stop calling me, and stop mailing me letters, and it was crazy, Adora. I gotta let you hear some of these messages. But we were able to find one lady who she had a big house. It was a 3,500 square foot house in Southwest Vegas, and she had bought it back in '02 for $260,000 cash.
Mm.
A big, beautiful, immaculate 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom. I'm sorry, 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom house, and the comps in the area were running about 230 to 240 in that region, and we were able to negotiate her down to $110,000.
Mm.
And now I know you're
No,
probably asking yourself
why?
why.
Why?
I knew that question was coming up next. All right. So this lady, she lived in Columbus, Ohio, right? And her house was in Las Vegas. Now she was a older woman. She was she was in her 60s, and she did very successful in business. She had an online jewelry business, and made a good amount of money. And so, anyways, her and her family, they would spend half of the year in Ohio and then spend the other half in Nevada.
Okay.
But her husband, he had gotten sick over the years, and so they just primarily stayed in Ohio. So during that time period, they had hired a realtor out here in Vegas to find a tenant to go live in their house. The only issue was the realtor did not do her due diligence, and so she put somebody in this lady's house who turned it into a weed house.
Ah.
You know, for some of y'all who don't know what weed is, it's marijuana. And so, and so, and so anyways, they turned her house into a grow house, and they just tear up her walls, and they like start running a bunch of like electrical outlets and crap, and putting up wall partitions in the house, and tear up her carpet, and they just totally demolish the house, right? And so the police they do a raid on the house, and like these people, they just flee like cockroaches, right? And they escape. And the lady who was the actual tenant of the house, she went back to California, and this lady was stuck with the bill because when she had moved, she kept all the bills in her name, right?
Oh.
And so what happened was that these jackasses who did this to her house, they had actually burrowed underneath the ground, and they had stole the power from Nevada Power, right? And so,
Jeez.
and so she was stuck with that bill. And so, anyways, the lady, she had a real big, she was a foreign lady, and so she had a real thick accent. So, I couldn't really hear her too well when we were talking initially. But she was like, Daniel. She was like, I owe $7,000 on the electric bill. And I'm thinking in my head, $7,000? I was like, Shirley. I was like, Miss Shirley, how do you get a $7,000 bill? And he says, no, Daniel, not 7,000, 17,000.
Yeah. Whoa.
And I'm like, $70,000? How do you get a $70,000 bill? I'm thinking in my head that this is some MGM grand, Luxor type. I'm thinking this is a casino's
Right.
electric. And she tells me the whole story. And so I talked to a couple partners who I'd been networking with off of Facebook, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 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 that's what people do. They when they put these grow houses in, they steal electric from there, and the because the weed it needs a lot of UV lights to it. That's why it generates a lot of electricity." So I was like, "Wow." So, anyways, she was stuck with the bill, and Nevada Power System they were coming after her for the bill, and she didn't know what to do. She couldn't just sell it to on the open market because nobody would want the house.
Right.
So anyways, I had a guy that I had known back in Tulsa, and he had done several deals out there in Tulsa, and he lived out there in Vegas at the current time. So I pretty much used him as my feet on the ground out there, and then we were able to get the deal flipped out, and all in all, we made $30,000 off of the deal. Now,
Woo!
now, check this out, Adura. What happened was we didn't really know what the numbers were like out there in Vegas because
Right.
out in Vegas, you can go up to 85% ARV on the properties because the demand is so great out here and the inventory out here is so low. But we didn't know that. So we flipped it out to another investor, and he flipped it out to another person, and he made like an additional $50,000 off of that.
Woo!
And so,
So
like,
it was an $80,000 spread in the whole deal.
yes,
Ah,
yes. And it was $80,000 spread, man, and we only got 30,000, man. But I mean, it was a great learning experience.
right.
And so like, and this deal right here, Adora, like everything that could have gone wrong with it did go wrong with it. I mean, like we had issues finding title companies because title companies they didn't want to work with wholesalers. And I mean, honestly, I've worked with students across the nation, and Nevada by far was the worst place that you could try and find a person to run your title because so much crap had taken place during the last decade where they had heightened up their rules and laws and regulations on what kind of deals that they do. And so we had issues with title companies doing what we needed them to do. We had an issue with the seller because her son had gotten into the mix, and he was pissed off because mom was selling the house for so cheap. And so, we had to deal with him, and he was demanding, give me your driver's license, and give me all this other information, and send this over to me, and yada yada, this and that, and at the end of the game, at the end of the day, we were going to give up this deal, right? Because we had spent about $1,000, getting it fixed up, just so that it would look presentable to the buyers coming in, and so we were in it for like $1,000, and I was in my postcards for about the same amount too.
Right.
So
So it's
he's
like
trying to back out.
I want to get my money back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to get my money back. I'm not gonna just not get my money back. And so we got to pull rank on him, and we were like, we will sue you. We will bring you and your mama and your dad and everybody down in Clark County. I was like, you better book your plane ticket. And so and so like I mean you might think that I'm a nice guy, but like when you mess with my money and you try to break contracts, I don't like that, man. And so anyways, he gets with the program, and he submits, and then the buyer that my partner had gotten, he had started acting crazy. He had started talking about oh well, hey, there's a little bit more work in here than I thought it was, and yada 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 yada. And so we had to deal with him as well. And one issue that I did, Odora, was when we did an assignment contract with him, and before he flipped it out to his guy, I had put the date that he needed to close as the same date that we were closing on the seller's contract, which was a big no-no.
Mm.
You always want to, if you have a contract with a seller, you always have one date here, but you always make sure that the buyer's assignment contract has a closing date, which is at least a week or 2 weeks prior to when you need to close with the seller.
Right.
Just in case something happens, you can go find another buyer. So, but yeah, long story short, man, we were able to pull through, get the deal done, and lost all of our hair in the process, man. But yeah, we were able to get the deal done.
And $30,000 was the outcome of a $1,000 postcard campaign.
Yes.
Nice, nice. And that's what I try to the beautiful thing about this business, I feel, is that there's like a learn while you earn kind of opportunity, as opposed to like if you want to open like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or something like that. You got to go through a lot of stuff before you even get to, all right, now we're actually like profiting. And the beauty in terms of real estate investing, wholesaling, stuff like that, is that you can actually, if you take the right strategic action and do the right things, market and everything like that, you can still kind of be at the stage where you really don't know what's going on, and you're kind of like just working your way through and figuring it out as you go, and
Mm-hmm.
still make money. And that's like, I don't know too many other businesses like that.
There really isn't. There really isn't.
And
I mean,
and
they're few and
then
far between.
you can go from there, to kind of making a little bit at that level one stage to, oh man, I really know what I'm doing now, and I could like kill it out here, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're totally right about that. I mean, you are totally right about that. And I mean, going back to something that you said earlier on, um, where you said that there's some people who will spend years and years, eating up all the knowledge and watching all the podcasts and reading all the ebooks. That's absolutely correct. I have all types of people come to me and talk about they want me to be their coach, they want me to be their mentor, and I start talking to them about their experience, and man, they've been learning since like 1995.
Yeah,
You know,
nah, that's a common phrase which I absolutely hate, and it always goes something like, Adura, yeah, I've been studying real estate since 2001, and I'm like, dang, dude, where's your bachelor's degree? Like that's a long time
man, you
to
should
be
have two
studying.
PhDs by then.
That's a long time to be studying, but I think for a lot of folks, which is why I put this together, is to kind of like the visual of, at the core, it's just really about, I think, getting some level of knowledge, information, and then just going out there like you did, like I've done, like other investors have done, and take massive action. And then it'll like with massive action, you have to see results. Like
Yeah,
it's no way that you don't.
yeah.
No way that you don't. So now, I'm sorry, it's a fly trying to. So
I thought you were trying to do your best Mr. Miyagi trick, and use your little chopsticks and catch the fly.
so at that point, so you've gone just over the course of, I guess, the past year and some change. So you've gone from total newbie to marketing, figuring that out, doing that first deal, then doing more marketing, even in a different marketplace, to now you're consistently doing deals on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Nice, nice. So that's a true testament. Just as I listen to you speak, that's a true testament of getting out there and taking action, even on that first deal. Even though I like the fact that that first deal took 3 months to find that buyer. But a lot of people would have said, "Oh man, man, this stuff doesn't work." The Sean Terry didn't tell me this stuff would take 3 months to flip this deal. But that shows that, and even at that stage where you're just trying to figure it out, telling this lady we're still looking for a buyer and everything like that, that if you do, market, get out there in the marketplace and do end up bumping into that motivated seller, it's kind of ball game from there.
Yeah, yeah.
So at this point, hands down, what's your favorite marketing strategy right now?
My favorite marketing strategy right now is I have actually started doing internet marketing. So I've
Back to your roots.
back to my roots, man. And so I've been setting up different squeeze pages and doing some SEO and creating YouTube videos and doing deals off of that as well. Now, Bandit Signs, every now and again, I gotta just, keep myself, in good practice. So I'll do Bandit Signs, but I don't really do too many more Bandit Signs. I feel it's really good in the beginning to do it, you know, like, personally for me, it was the best, cost effective way to do it.
Right.
But then, as you, graduate kindergarten and go to first and second and third grade, you change your tactics a little bit.
Right.
And so, but yeah, I believe that the future is going to be in internet marketing and putting your website properties out there, because first thing that a person does typically, if they have a distressed property, is they go to Google or Yahoo or Bing and say, hey, I need to sell my house fast in Phoenix, or hey, let me call the We Buy Houses people in Philadelphia. They turn to the internet, and so yeah, that's my number one baby right there for my marketing right now.
Nice, nice, nice. And now, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm
Oh
gonna put you
man.
on the spot a little bit. And this could go either good or bad because I've never done it before, right? So when you're watching interviews with like rappers or singers and stuff like that, and they're like at a radio station, they'll say, all right, randomly, bust out a freestyle for us or something like that. So so in our industry, we're not freestyling, but we do talk to sellers.
Mhm.
And I think you have to be one of the major reasons for my success is just simply being able to, I call it making love to the seller.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
building
yeah.
rapport, finding that connection. If there is one, some folks are just going to be like, tell me what you can pay, and I don't want to hear nothing else. But the folks that there's opportunity there to build with, and I find a lot of people like are really stuck at that point of, and I get it. So if your name is like Randy and you work at like the post office for like 20 years, and you're trying to do this real estate thing, you're like, what the heck do I say to this seller? So putting you on the spot, if you accept if you accept the challenge, okay, let's do a, and this is totally random. Let's do a role play session of how you would talk to an incoming seller to kind of show the newbie that's out there that's like, oh man, that's my number one fear. I don't know what to say. I'm sweating. I'm having anxiety when I talk to these folks. Show them your process of, how do you take an incoming lead?
Okay, good, good. Well, man, you got me sweating bullets. I thought you were gonna tell me to tell my deepest, darkest secrets or something. But basically, what I do is everybody goes to voicemail. So I know some people, they take the calls live, or have other VAs taking live. I send everything to voicemail, and then I call them back, and I'll say, so ring, 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 and you be,
Hey, I got your postcard about my house.
oh yes, yes, yes. Hey, actually, I'm calling them back.
Oh, right,
So
right,
I'm
right, right.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm ringing the phone.
Hello.
Hello, is this Bill?
Yes, this is Bill.
Hey, Bill. This is Daniel, and I am actually just returning your call about that house that you were thinking about selling over there at 123 Anywhere Place.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just giving you a call to check with you and see what talk to you a little bit about the house. Can you tell me some more about the house?
Oh yeah, it's a four-bedroom property on the south side of Vegas, and it's what else do you want to know?
Well, just tell me a little bit more about the house and why you're looking at selling it, and what's going on with it.
Yeah, so the house, it's in good condition. My mom used to live there. She's since passed away. So we're just we're on the fence, trying to see if we should sell it or keep it in the family. So I got something from you, so I wanted to see what you wanted to pay for it.
Okay, definitely, definitely. That's good to hear, Bill. And I do apologize to hear about your mother. I know that can be rough. My own mother, she passed away a few years ago, so that's always a tough situation for anybody to go through. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, just looking through your house. Wh- and I'm sorry, I don't even have my script in front of me, but basically what I'll do is I try and get them talking more, Adura. And so I try and have them tell me about the repairs, what's wrong with the house. So I'll ask them questions. If they're kind of quiet with talking, what I'll do is I'll try and ask them a lot of open-ended questions. So I'll say, okay, okay, that's good. Sounds like you have a pretty good house over there, Bill. How's the roof on the house?
Oh, were you asking me?
Yeah, back to role play mode.
No,
I'm sorry.
the
Back
roof.
to role play mode.
The roof is the roof. It's like 5 years old. It's a rubber roof.
Okay, okay. And then out of roleplay mode again, I'll just ask him a few different questions about roof, foundation, electric system, this and that. Try and get them talking. And then what I'll do is, I'll tell them, okay, Bill, a little bit about me is, I represent a group of investing partners, and what we do is we typically buy about 10 to 12 homes in your area each month. And basically, what we're doing is we're looking for the best deals that we can get to add to our inventory. And so your house came up in our research, and so that's the reason for the search for the postcard. And so what we do is when we do find a house which fits our criteria, what we like to do is we like to get our folks in there, just check out the place, and see how much we can actually give you for the house. But what we do is we pay all cash for your property. So you don't need to fool around with having anybody deal with the mortgage, or you don't have to deal with somebody telling you, hey, you need to fix up your property before you sell it. And we typically give our homeowners their cash within 30 days or less. Now, that being said, Bill, we do also pay for your closing costs because we understand that a lot of times people they just want to be done with the house. They just want to get their cash and move on with the rest of their life. Would you say that's the position that you're in, Bill?
Sign me up.
Sign you up? All right. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a offer which is 50 cents on the dollar, and you're going to accept it. No, we don't say that. I don't say that. But uh, basically, what I'll do is after I tell them that, basically what I'm trying to do, the psychology of it, is I'm trying to put them in a position where they understand that number one, it's not just me. I'm representing a bunch of investing partners and funding partners. So when I tell them, hey, I'm gonna put a lockbox in your house and people are gonna come through, they understand that's my funding partners, so they don't think, oh, hey, what the hell are you doing, Daniel? Number two, I let them know that we're looking for deals. So we're investors. We're looking for deals. I'm not trying to buy your house retail. I don't want to buy your house which is worth $100,000 for $150,000. Number three is I try to create scarcity by saying, yeah, we're looking at buying 8 to 10 more homes, or 3 or 4 more homes, or whatnot, and we're looking for the best deal. You know,
Yes.
I put that in their head, and so and then I lead off into trying to hit the home run, and I say to the seller, okay, so Bill, basically, um, what we do is we give our homeowners all cash for the properties and pay for all your closing costs, and make the closing process as easy as possible. Now, that being said, what is the lowest cash offer that you can even accept for this property?
Hmm. Say 100,000.
$100,000. And so basically, that puts me at a place where I'm looking at my numbers, and I've already done my numbers, so I kind of know what area I need to be in. And so whether you're in the if you're like totally outside of the ballpark, then what I'll do is I'll say, yeah, I would love to give you $100,000 for your house bill, but again, we're investors and we're looking for the best deals. And I mean, there's this house down the street at XX address which is selling for $80,000, and there's this other couple of houses which are bank owned and they're selling for this amount of money. And in order for us to make it happen, Bill, I really need for us to get at a lower number. I mean, what can you do? And at that point, they may not be able to go down lower because they may have a mortgage on the house, which doesn't allow it to become a wholesale deal. So like if you were to tell me, hey Daniel, the mortgage on my house is $100,000, so I just need $100,000 for the mortgage, then if I can't do that, then I'll say, yeah, Bill, you know what? I can't do $100,000 because that's way too much money, and I understand you need $100,000 to pay
Right.
to the mortgage company, right? And
Yes.
I'll ask them that, just in case they're lying to me, because people do lie. And if the deal isn't good, then because the numbers don't work, usually what I'll do is I'll refer it out to a realtor, and I'll just give it to a realtor, and I'll say, oh hey, I'm gonna have this realtor give you a call, and I try and build up relationships with realtors just so that I scratch their back, they scratch my back, and we all make money at the end of the day. But let's say that at $100,000, you're somewhere in the area. What I'll do is I'll say, okay, $100,000. I'll say, yeah, Bill, that's a pretty decent offer, but the only issue is we're looking at a couple of houses down here, which are at $90,000 or $80,000, and I mean, we really can only get three more deals this month. And I'll ask them, is that the best that you can do?
Sit there and wait for it.
And just,
I might be, I might be able to do a little better. What were you thinking?
well, Bill, I mean, we're looking at houses which are $60,000, $70,000. I mean, definitely, I want to give you as much money as possible because I'm talking to you. You're a good guy. I want to give you as much money as I can. But at the end of the day, we also have to make money on the deal as well because I don't want my wife kicking me out of my house because I didn't get this month. So help me out, Bill. Let's do this, Bill. I mean, what is the lowest that you can possibly take for it, man?
All right, man. 55. That's the best I can do.
Okay. Yeah, 55. That's a great deal, Bill. That's a great deal. I mean, is that really the best you can do, Bill? And type, I'll keep on saying. So,
Nah,
I'll
I
say,
like that. I
you
can see how
remember you told
that's
me
your
this,
go-to. I
you
can
remember
see
that you
that
told me
how
like
that's your
crack
go-to.
foundation. I mean, we probably had to spend $20,000 getting that repaired. Is that the best you can do? And I keep on doing this. I'll keep on doing this facade until they, plant their foot down, or until I feel like they're about to cuss me out. And
Nah.
so what I say is, okay, $55,000. Okay, that sounds like a good deal. So here's what we're gonna do, Bill. What I'm going to do is let's arrange to meet either today or tomorrow, and let's make sure that your wife is there because we need to sign a simple purchase sales agreement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a copy for yourself, and then I'm going to bring a copy for myself, and then you'll sign it, and then I'll just also take a look around the house just to make sure everything is good to go, and I'm sure it will be. I'm sure we can do the 55,000 for your house. But what we'll do is typically we close within 30 days or less, but I like to put the period at 45 days max, just in case something happens, there's title issues while we're running it. So we're going to put it for 45 days out at max. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a lockbox out to the property, and then you'll need to give me a copy of the key because what I'm going to do, Bill, is I'm going to have my funny partners go to the house, and look at it and see which one of them actually wants to fund the purchase of your property. And I know you're a busy man. You work down at the post office, and I don't want them. I don't want you to have to be interrupted to have to go show my funny partners the house every time they need to go see it.
Hmm.
Okay. And at this point, they are agreeing with it because, like, when a person is motivated, they'll agree with anything, you know. And I've had people, Adora, where I go to their house with the contracts and they don't even read the contract. Like, all they'll do is they'll read the purchase sales price, just to make sure that I put down the right number.
The
But all
number
the
is
other stuff,
correct.
yeah, they don't read it. They're like, okay, here you go. I could be saying, hey, you're signing away your firstborn child to me. Okay, but that's motivation right there.
Nah, that is motivation, and then that's something that I preach very strongly. Is a lot in this business. Unfortunately, there's a lot of waste in terms of incoming leads, but all you're really sorting through is those no's, no's, no's. All right, this guy's retarded. This guy makes no sense. To get through to that one that's like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
ready to sign on the dotted line. I'm so motivated. I'll sign this thing on like piece of tissue paper and just call me. Just call me when it's time to come get my check. And I
Mhm.
think that's the whole purpose of it is just it's a numbers game and just sorting through those no's and those very interesting people that call you to
Oh
get
wow.
through. And I've been doing like direct mail. I looked at my click to mail account the other day, and I saw like I've been doing direct mail since like 2007. So
Wow.
like that's a lot of crazy phone calls that I've heard over the course of the past X amount of years. But it's all worth it, when you're able to pop out those $6,000 deals, then move up to those 20s, the 30s, the 50s, and even higher than that. That's when it's like, oh man, like I got to keep mailing these things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is and this is with any marketing, but especially in direct mail, what'll happen is, people will mail out 500 postcards or 1,000 postcards or letters or whatnot, and they may not get a deal, and so they'll be uh, demotivated by that, and they'll say, okay, well, this stuff doesn't work, and they'll hear about people, on the different Facebook groups or whatever other type of social media is out there talking about, oh, hey, I cranked out $20,000 and each deal, and I did like 10 deals off of 1,000 postcards, and they'll stop. But I mean, what I tell them is that you got to keep on mailing out those postcards because there will be times where you mail out 1,000 postcards or letters and you won't get a deal. That's happened to me before.
Now
You know,
that's happened to me more than a few times.
more than a few times. And I mean, there'll be times where you mail out 1,000 and you get one or two deals off of that. And what I tell them is keep on mailing because you really start. From my experience, you really start getting more deals the more times you mail the same list. You know, and so I will say for any type of marketing that a person does, that they just need to be one, consistent in doing it, and two, persistent in doing it.
Hmm. Hmm. Nah, if you guys are listening, these are serious nuggets that are being dropped by the ninja. Give me 1 second. Got to get my charger. Hmm. So nah, Daniel, I this is for being the first interviewee on Tales from the Trenches. I think this is a lot of content, a lot of information. So tell us what you've got going on over at your website.
Yeah, what I got going on over at my website is at houseflippingninja.com. And I recently came out with a 224 page ebook which is pretty much a blueprint into my business and how I got started and how I coached other people to get started. And I teach pretty much the same information which took me from start to finish. So I talk about how to get buyers and how to get sellers and how to do deals and how to find title companies and how to negotiate and contracts and everything beyond that. And I give out a lot of contracts at the end as well. And you can download it for free off of my website at houseflippingninja.com.
Nice, 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 nice. Any before we close out, any parting words for our listeners that might just any words in general or any specific words for those that are, on the fence that are like, oh man, I've been trying to do this stuff. I've been studying or, I've been an aspiring investor and, I just haven't seemed to be able to make any traction. Any parting words for the folks?
Yes, yes. What I would say, folks, is if you're a new investor or you're a struggling investor, what you want to do is just stay encouraged and just know that you can do it and it will happen. You just need to take action. And people may tell you that you can't do it. They may say, "Oh, that's a fly-by-night deal," and you can't do that. But trust, you can do that. Because there's tons of people from the East Coast, the West Coast, wholesaling deals, and if they can do it, and if Adura and I can do it, then you can too. And so, what I'll tell those people is that just make sure that you take action. If you have been reading and learning about this business for any longer than 2 weeks, then you're ready to go, because you're going to learn the most by getting out there on the streets and getting your grind on and taking action and fielding calls, and don't worry about messing up because the fact is you will mess up, and no matter how big you get and no matter how many deals you get, you do mess up, at times. But as long as you're legally protected by your contracts, you don't need to worry. So just make sure you take action. Make sure you focus on your marketing systems. Don't go from marketing system to marketing system. Like Adura, he sends out direct mail to probates. That's his thing, and he really, really kills it. And, he focused on that, and that's how he did his deals. In the beginning, I just did Bandit Signs, and I really, really killed it. That's how I did my deals. So no matter what kind of marketing systems you hear, they all work. They all work. But you just have to focus on that one thing at a time until you start doing deals. And then you can start expanding into, okay, let me do Bandit Signs and Google and probates and absentee owners. That's when you can start branching off into other deals. So focus and take action. Those are my three biggest words.
Nice, nice. Well, definitely, once again, thank you, Mr. Wiafe, for joining us on our inaugural episode of Tales from the Trenches. And once again, guys, this is all about just hearing live and direct from guys and I guess gals that are like really making it happen. Real life people that you can touch. Not some guy that's in San Diego somewhere selling courses, but Daniel is actually out there in the streets making it happen, and the result of that is being able to ultimately do what he wants to do, feed his family, and so on. So if you're still in the figuring it out phase of your business, you definitely want to stay tuned to this interview series as we'll dive in deeper. In this episode, we've heard how Daniel went from being introduced in the early 90s to getting back in just last year and taking massive action and being to the point where he's doing multiple deals on a monthly basis. And that's not far-fetched. It's nothing special about Daniel, nothing special about me, just really getting out there and taking action. So hopefully this episode has encouraged you to ultimately be able to fire your boss or fire whatever it is in your life that is causing you not to be who you want to be lifestyle wise. And once again, I'm Adura Sanya from iFlip Academy. He is
Daniel Wiafe, the house flipping ninja.
And we're signing out, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in.